So how do you offset a pivot when you make a geometry like a cross plane, for example, for muzzle flash? Well, let me show you how. Open a new project, and then let's add first our plane. So geo shape node, click on this one, and then what you can do first is changing the orientation uh, of your plane, like so. Maybe add a 90-degree on the y-axis and then offset it by how much. Okay, so width and depth is 100 units, so it should be about 50. Yeah, and then as you can see, the pivot is still centered on the plane mesh. So what you're gonna do next is add a geo transform node where it's gonna take the pivot position and orientation from this geo transform. So first step, you would do your offset over here, and then add a geo transform to have the pivot offset, the pivot coordinates to be taken from this one. So that's pretty much it basically, but let's go a bit further for this example by making a cross plane. So what can we do? Well, first it's better if we can preview what's going on. So I took the liberty to make a muzzle flash texture in IlluGen that I'm just gonna import over there. Okay, so how do you preview all this? Well, by using the renderer node. So first link the geometry on it, double click on the renderer, and maybe change the camera more like the sun azimuth to like this, and then plug the this one right there into the albedo, and then now you can see that what your texture orientation is a bit fucked up, but that's because we made we rotated like the mesh like this. So we can just fix it by adding like 90 degrees on the x-axis, and there you go. For the opacity mask as well, you can use the same textures, transparent, you can see through, and then you can duplicate this node and then merge it using a merge node. Merge those geometry together over there, and then you see nothing. Well, that's because you still need to rotate this mesh. So either set this one to 0, well, just set it to 0, and then maybe add color to it. So you need form color and use a something orange like this, and then for the emissive increase it to something like this, 15. There you go. And then let's say because in Unreal the forward axis is if I'm not mistaken is the x-axis, so you will want your cross plane to be facing that way so that you don't have any additional modification to do inside Niagara when importing this asset. So how do you do that? Well, you rotate this over there, should be the y-axis about 90 degree, and then add another geo transform node so that the pivot is going to be the pivot coordinate is all going to be taken from there. So now it's facing the x-axis, and now it's ready to be exported. export model, and don't forget to check the unit, and Unreal is in centimeters. So, and yeah, that's pretty much it. You just export it and then voila.